When you're poor and living in the crowd, no one notices. But when you're rich, even the forest draws visitors. Some people only show up when you have something they want. Some smiles are just silent trades for favors. Some words like friend are placeholders before the deals are made. But one day you'll run out of status for them to respect. Run out of value for them to keep you around. And then, how they look at you will show you the truth. Because being nice, when it benefits them, is just manners. But being kind when there's nothing to gain, that's character. Life is but a dream. To love is to suffer, to feel nothing is also suffering. People often ask, how do you truly know someone's heart? Not when they toast with you, not when they call you soulmate, but when you're down, quiet, tired, and worn, when you can no longer offer them anything. That's when their true self appears. The ways of people run deep like the sea. Only the wind and moon remain honest. Some people were once as sweet as spring breeze, but turned cold as December when you lost your title. Some go silent at your sorrow because they no longer have a reason to listen. The kindest people aren't those who try to impress. They're the ones who have nothing to gain from you and still choose to treat you gently. Positive psychology once said, unconditional acts of kindness bring the deepest form of happiness. Because every time you help, not for credit, but just because your brain releases oxytocin, it calms your nerves, brightens your mind. When we give, we also receive, in peace. People of real depth don't show it through big words. You see it in humble eyes, in a quiet bow of gratitude, in the way they help when no one is watching. We often look at faces, talent, careers, but sometimes pay attention to how someone treats those who are weaker. Do they bow before the elderly or turn away? Do they speak to a young waiter like a person or like a tool? Because true character shows up when no one's making you be kind, but you choose to be anyway. In ancient wisdom, it is said, the sage does nothing but changes others simply by presence. Those who seek nothing have no strings attached. Those who use no one walk freely, and that very stillness wins hearts. Without even trying. A social study once revealed, people who don't seek personal gain are trusted more over time. Why? Because they don't give off manipulative signals. Not calculating is a kind of quiet strength. It's the root of lasting respect. Now think back. Has anyone ever helped you when there was nothing in it for them? Has anyone checked in on you when the spotlight was gone? Has anyone still respected you when your role was no longer relevant? Those are the rarest souls because they didn't come for what you had. They stayed for who you are. And now ask yourself, have you ever been kind when you needed nothing in return? Have you ever shown respect to someone who couldn't benefit you? If yes, then breathe easy. You're on the right path. To know someone, don't listen to what they preach. Watch them when no one's watching them. See how they treat those who have nothing to offer. That's when the mask falls. That's when you see the soul of a good person, or the disguise of a selfish one. The way doesn't sit in loud prayers or fancy chants. It lives in how we treat strangers. Those with no power. It's easy to lift your chin. It takes strength to bow your head. The ancients said, the strong become human, the soft become virtue. But even bowing isn't always the same. There's a bow that earns respect, and a bow that earns pity. The strong bow because they understand. The weak bow because they're afraid. The strong yield because they don't need to fight. The weak retreat to see who's more powerful. Humility is the grace of those who've conquered themselves. Groveling is the fear of those who don't know who they are. One bows and stands tall inside. The other bends but keeps glancing around. One is willing to lower themselves. The other is forced to. They may look alike, but are worlds apart. Because when a noble person bows, it's for virtue. When a shallow one bows, it's for gain. To bow before the weak doesn't mean you've lost. It means you don't need to win. To yield a step doesn't make you small. To bow once doesn't make you less. In a world hungry for power, the one who yields with wisdom is the strongest of all. In a world full of schemes, those who don't scheme may seem naive, but as they grow old, they'll smile the softest. Because they owe no one, except maybe a few unnamed acts of kindness. And what they gained wasn't money, but peaceful sleep and a clean heart. So be the kind of person who doesn't need gratitude. Be kind even when no one's watching. Keep a gentle heart even when the world turns cold, because that's the one thing that remains when everything else fades. And if one day you meet someone who treats you with care even when they want nothing from you, hold on to them, because in this changing world, that may be the rarest thing of all.